for the Public Safety Commission meeting for August 2024. Call this meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Let's see. We have a quorum present with Commissioner Nava, Commissioner Warby, and Commissioner Cruz. First, or second item, I guess, is motion to approve the agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve it, the agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you call for the?
Oh, we had questions on the. Okay, and I'm sorry. The is there any public comment from the on the agenda? Okay. All right, then. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Motion moves forward here. The public input, item number 3, public's invited to present petitions, make announcements, or provide other information to the commission that is relevant to the scope and authority of the city of Blue Lake and is not on the agenda. Commission may provide up to 15 minutes for this public input session. To assure that each individual presentation is heard, the commission may uniformly impose time limitations of 3 minutes to each individual presentation. The public will be given the opportunity to address items that are on the agenda time the commission takes up each specific agenda item. So any public comment at this time? Step up to the podium and state your name, please.
Ken Sawatsky, I wanted to address a few concerns that have been brought to my attention recently. People are concerned of lack of enforcement regarding fireworks on the 4th of July. It disturbs livestock, people. It seems to be an ongoing thing for a week instead of just being one evening, which if it shut down by 10 or 10:30, we could have our animals safe. Other places have used their CERT people sometimes to go out and help do enforcement. I think it's conjunction with the fire department would be appropriate for them to go around. In advance of that, we want to find out what kind of authority they would have to issue citations for illegal fireworks and send the message. If a few people get fined, possibly that will be curtailed. So Erin Beth McClure, she who fights with two fists, that's her name, told me that the gate down at the Gymkhana still is deficient. They need to have a better gate down there. It's still a hazard, safety hazard. People keep asking me, when are we going to move forward on the stop signs on I Street and 8th Street? That seems to be some of concern out there. Nothing's happened on that for quite a while. Also on I Street, there's a redwood root in the road as you turn there. There's no signage letting you know. I start following people, and now we just cross over to the other lane because it's a hazard. So anyway, hopefully those are some things that maybe have a little attention to. There's an RV in front of the Emporium building, which I've reported. Hopefully something will happen with that one. It's been there for quite a while. My tenants down there and other people in the neighborhood are concerned to have those things parked around there. It has Texas license plates, probably hasn't been registered since 2016. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on those specific topics today. Oh, lastly, there is I have a concern of the design of the road project when it interfaces with the county road. If you go out there and look, it's not ADA compliant. Maybe it's going to get changed, but the sidewalk itself goes over and runs you right up the middle of a guardrail. That is not a safe way for people to go to school or come to school or anything in that area. Take a look at that one, see if you think it needs to be dealt with. Maybe it will be. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. All right, any other public comment? If there's no other public comment, then we will move ahead to item number 4, approval of June 2024 meeting minutes. Did all the commissioners receive the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any corrections or amendments?
No.
Right. Hearing no corrections, then the minutes are filed as presented.
Get a motion in a second.
We did do motions on that one. Why do I know?
I'll move to approve the June meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
And you need public comment too.
Is there any public comment on approval of the minutes for June? Okay, hearing no public comment, then we're all in favor of approving the minutes for June.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting minutes are approved. Item 5, Public Safety Commission resignation and secretary designation. So we have a resignation from the commission, and we need to appoint a new secretary. Kim has agreed to
Congratulations, Kim.
step up and take that role.
Thanks. I heard it was gonna be yours though. So.
We tried. Do we need a vote?
Mhm.
So, okay, then I will. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while. Do I just make a motion that we appoint Kim? I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Kim as our secretary.
I'll second that.
Okay. If we're all in favor of that,
Aye.
Comment,
new secretary,
public comment.
and then
No public comment on that before you vote.
oh really?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
Every
So,
single item.
is there a public comment for the resignation of secretary designation? Item 5.
Well, since it's not really clear who resigned, it wasn't stated on here. I want to thank whoever they were for their service. I hope that as soon as possible that the additional position, I'm not sure if are you up to 2 vacancies now? I'm not sure how many you had here. So you just
the
had
one.
one. Fantastic. The sooner you get that advertised along with the other vacancies that are on the web page, not only posted but on the, I think you can put them on your Facebook and put them on the city's web page. The sooner you can fill these positions. When you're down a person or two, sometimes for you to actually have a meeting, you need the person for quorum. So I highly recommend you take some kind of action at some time or just make a recommendation to staff that they publish that so you can fill the empty seat. And again, thank you for the time that your person served there.
All right. Any other public comment? All right. Do we need to vote again then?
Mhm.
Okay. So now we will vote. I'll make a motion to appoint Kim as our secretary.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Warby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for stepping up. Sam.
Yes,
All right. So let's see. Item 6, Public Safety Commission annual meeting discussion. Molly couldn't make it today. Phil and I met with her and we discussed kind of a format. It is going to be on September 14th. We're going to have our annual meeting, which is going to be a safety / wellness fair, I guess, in Perigo Park from 10 o'clock to 2 p.m. We have a list of organizations we're going to invite. We're starting to go through them now. I don't know how far Molly has gotten yet, but I'm working on some of the organizations that would be of a resource to us. Not necessarily during a major event, but also just as a community. Things like Tri-County's assisted living, Red Cross, fire department. So I think it's going to be a good event. We're going to have probably a raffle, some door prizes. There might be some acoustic background music playing, maybe some food and drinks and stuff. So, is there anything I'm missing?
Nope. We have a pretty substantial list of people that Molly thought might contribute. So she was working on that list and seeing what they could offer. It'll be a tabling event with some pop-ups and music and things like stuff like that. Sounds like a good deal.
So okay, we'll move this for a future agenda item as well. Keep going with more information as we go. At this time, I'll take some questions. Does any public comment?
With any of these events, I strongly recommend you start advertising as soon as you can. I know you guys get nice banners out here for things. Currently on the city's webpage, on the homepage, there's I strongly support the Nestler car show in the Memorial, but that's passed, and so you have a spot right there where maybe you could get your advertising for what's transpiring, and that gets people in advance. People, especially this time of year, need to know about things way in advance because they have summer calendars, family events. So the sooner you get that out there, publicized on that, and also on your, I think you've got a Facebook page or something for the city. Just promotion is how you get people to show up, and if they don't know about it well in advance, your attendance goes way down. So sounds like a great event. Strongly support you guys moving forward with the thing there.
All right, any more public comment? Okay, then we can move on to the Hatchery Road parking issues, item number 7. Is this an item you put on, Mandy? Or?
This is an item that you guys asked to be, have put on from your last meeting. It's a future agenda item.
So, so I guess the parking issues. I mean, there's certain times of the year during the busy summer times. There's a lot of congestion on this side of the bridge, and at the other end of Hatchery Road. I believe it's a county issue. The county has, code enforcement has addressed it and is currently working on it as far as I know, but I don't know any more. I guess I could take any questions. I don't have any other information on this. Go ahead.
This is a major safety issue as far as full transparency. I felt it wasn't being addressed with correctly. There was signage put up by the county down there. No parking. People continually park between the signage there. Poor neighbor there, has that in front of his house. So I made a complaint with code enforcement, and Warren Black has responded to me on that one. So I have I think this is my latest communication with him in here, and I'll read that to you if that's okay. This was sent on 7/18/24 at 8:13 a.m. from Warren to me. And it says, Mr. Swansky, I've been in contact with reps of Green Diamond to discuss and have a meeting set to discuss the requirement for parking and possible alternatives. They, in parentheses, Green GD reps, did indicate that if they must construct a parking lot, money, $3 sign, it may be more than they are willing to do, and use may be disallowed, which makes sense to me as they are not in the business of mountain bike trails, but rather the timber business. I have some ideas for alternative solutions, but will require significant give and take to accomplish. And then he just mentioned he spoke to somebody else in the public regarding the topic also. So anyway, he's someone who's working on it. I strongly support the mountain bike people there. I've gone by many times just to drive by, and there are kids, dogs in the road. They're working on their bikes. You can't get by safely if you need to. Again, Aaron McClure, shoe fights with two fists, was driving there the other day and observed the same thing. It says a major problem down there. And so anyway, it's hopefully being addressed. Some kind of solution will hopefully be worked out. And then after we get that one, we need to start addressing the same parking problem we have regarding the river down here. It's probably not going to be used much more because that green algae seems to be ramping up in there, which is unfortunate. But it's still a long-term thing that we need to work on. It's within our sphere of influence. We do have safety issues, and so we definitely have a dog in the fight as far as making sure that that's safe for our people and for the other people who come to visit Blue Lake. So thank you for the opportunity to speak on that topic.
All right. Thank you. Any public comment on this item? All right, we'll move on to item 8, Humboldt County Sheriff contract update and call data review.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I didn't get the call data all compiled. I apologize for that. I'll make sure you guys have all of it for the next meeting. The Humboldt County Sheriff contract right now, we're working with our risk managers and the county council and their risk managers on the liability indemnification language in the contract. Our risk managers weren't satisfied completely with the language that was presented and wanted to rework that language based upon the new type of and scope of services being provided. So we've been kind of going back and forth with the sheriff reps and the county council, and I think we'll have that issue resolved here in the next day or so. It's an issue that's not uh, exclusive to Blue Lake. It's an issue that's kind of a standard contract language issue that's being dealt with. Oh gosh, I see another here. Sorry. With Trinidad's contract as well, and some other entities that are contracting with the sheriff. So, just some insurance issues, but I think that'll be resolved shortly, and we'll be executing the contract. As you guys already know, we had renegotiated that contract, and so we'll be going forward. It's a yearly contract, which I think is appropriate. We'll be looking at these contracts yearly. It gives us time also to explore other options for law enforcement if other options are presented. There's a lot of small entities across the state that are dealing with law enforcement issues and contracting issues, and there's some um, options that our risk management team has presented that might be something that we would bring back to the Public Safety Commission to look at for future opportunities as well. So yeah, so that is where that's at right now. I did review the RIMS data. Didn't really see anything too exciting. Call data seems to be pretty standard. Didn't see anything out of place or anything that was seemed to be trending in any direction that was concerning. So, like I said, I'll have that data for you guys for the next meeting.
Okay. At this time, we'll take public comment for item 8.
As a public, I cannot be accused of stepping out of my lane by following on what's happening here with this particular topic. So I've been communicating on a regular basis with both the sheriff and Regina Fuller. I sent something off to them. Basically, a question was, have we paid yet? And mentioned this meeting and was hoping to say we had, but I got a response back from Regina Fuller. This came in to me at 10:54 a.m. today. Hi, Kent. As of the moment, I don't have it yet. I've asked my team to please notify me the second it arrives. So the county is we're delinquent. So my response was, what does Blue Lake have past due? I wanted the amount, and I assume there's a late fee. I guess maybe put them into collection. I forward this to Billy also. So these are some very troubling things since we are not paying our bill apparently as been committed to do, and I think the public has a right to know. I haven't had a response on a request or two since the time when it was due and it hadn't been paid. Don't think they're that kind of person that withholds services. They're on the opposite end of that particular spectrum. But this is concerning to the public. And so the sooner we pay our debts, people for services, the city likes to be paid. I'm just curious, maybe sometime you could have staff explain to us who this risk management thing, do we have an outside firm that handles risk management? Or is there a group within the city that handles risk management? Because in my opinion, there's been some deficiencies in how our risk is managed here in Blue Lake. So thank you for your opportunity to make comments on that.
Just wondering,
Please state your name, please.
Verta Pitts, thanks. First of all, Julie Christie has said it many times, and I want to echo that these meetings should be available on Zoom. I'm also wondering who the risk management team is for our city. I have been on hiatus, so forgive me, but I would love to be aware of that. And I would also love to have it agendized to see what our safety commission thinks about not having the sheriffs service Blue Lake. Thank you.
Is there any public comment anymore? Okay. So do we answer questions on any of that, or do we have to?
You can, or you can choose not to.
I mean, I don't think we have a consensus. We've never really polled each other on how we feel about the contract or not having police services, so I can't really comment on that. And I don't know anything else. Let's see. If there's no other public comment on that item, we can go on to agency check-ins. So we have Blue Lake Fire here. You can get a rundown.
Yeah, Captain Flores, Blue Lake Fire. Our call volume did go up in July compared to in June. We jumped from 39 calls to 56 calls. 14 of those calls were medical aids, 2 public assists. We had no cover calls. We had 2 hazardous condition calls, 27 fire calls. 14 of those were in other jurisdictions. 5 false alarms and 5 traffic collisions with extrication. I just want to keep in mind that the 27 fire calls are vehicle fires, wildland fires, structure fires. And some of those we do get canceled too. A lot of those ones that are in other jurisdictions or they're all the way up to 299. And we are still hosting CPR classes. We are still hosting car seat checks for the public free of charge. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have. We will be attending the safety fair situation that you guys are putting on. So thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Any public comment on item 7? Go ahead.
Well, I did want to thank you. I know your calls are going up, and they will continue to most likely. No matter what, we have a hard time convincing people that they should have their chains on their trailers fixed, and they should make sure their equipment, their towing is in great shape. I was speaking with Steve Madrone a little bit earlier, and a lot of our fires that happened up 299, I believe, were related to somebody who was running had a trailer behind him, running on the rim. Those kind of things. If anybody sees that, they need to hit 911 right away, and impress upon people that they're putting all of our lives at risk by not doing their due diligence to make sure their equipment is safe and not causing fires. As we've seen, this is one of the earliest, largest fire seasons we have on record, and it's just starting. Normally, right now is when it would be starting, but we've already used up probably a good share of our fire budget as far as the state and federal budgets go, and it probably will get worse. We had a lot of loading of fuels, and we've had many, many years of neglecting to do maintenance we should have been doing in our forest lands. So some people use the expression Mother Nature says burn baby burn, and that may be what's happening, unfortunately. Everybody needs to be really safe, careful this year.
I was just wondering how we would potentially have any kind of a statement from Blue Lake Rancheria and we have no communication with them.
Oh, we do. I mean, we do have communication with them.
Is there a
No, we don't have a liaison for the rancheria. Yeah. Any other public comment for item 7? All right, we'll go to item 8, reports from public safety liaison and staff.
Well, you don't have your liaison here, so I'll jump in and just give you kind of an overview of projects status in the city. As you guys know, probably our biggest project right now taking place is the Greenwood Road truck route improvement project. We're currently in the process of replacing all the sidewalks on the western side of Greenwood. I just walked the route a little bit ago with our project engineers, and the sidewalks look wonderful. They're large and spacious, and I think it's going to provide a lot of capacity for the kids to be able to ride their bikes and walk on the sidewalk with adequate space and keeping them out of the traffic lane. So I'm really excited about that. You'll start to see some of the bulb outs and things that are starting to be added in this week. Some of those are to assist with drainage along the route. Some of those will be facilitating raised crosswalks so that we actually have uh, speed control and have more visible crosswalks for pedestrians and especially the kids crossing from the east to the west to get to school. Those crosswalks will also have flashing radar signs as well to just present as much visibility as possible. Um, some of the bulb outs are to accommodate the power poles. Obviously, we were unable to relocate all the power poles um, like we had hoped to, but knew we probably wouldn't be able to. So there are varying degrees of walk behinds or walk in front installations to accommodate the adequate walkway. So you'll see some of those bulb outs being installed. A lot of those will be planted. It'll be nice to have vegetated landscaped areas along Greenwood too. So it'll make it more of a scenic uh, entryway, gateway, and while at the same time creating traffic calming features that will greatly reduce the speeds on Greenwood, which is a major part of this project. So that project's progressing really well. The contractor will be moving up to the east side, up across from the school here shortly. I believe they want to try and get this section at City Hall done this week and then move up and start demo and start coming down on the east side so that we're having the least amount of impact of school starting in August. And I think it's August 22nd. So it's all being sequenced to try and um, get as much work done as possible prior to us having that kind of large impact to traffic. And it seems like the schedule is trending really well. Work is going really well, and things look really good. Um, the town square is we're going to be pouring the splash pad feature tomorrow, I believe, which is really exciting. Last week they were able to get all of the splash pad infrastructure in place. All the sprayers are installed, so that will be installed, I believe, tomorrow. So you'll see that work completed. That splash pad feature will have it's called an artesian stain applied to it to have kind of a bluish green color in the middle. And that won't be able to be installed for a month. We have to wait for all the concrete to cure first before we can install the color. But it will have, I believe it's got some fish prints that will be going in there too. So that'll be really fun for the kids to be able to have that feature. The solar lights are all up and they are doing a great job. I drive through because I have to do some rounds at night just to make sure that I can cross off our list that we've done around with the power plant for insurance purposes. So driving up around the post office, it's pretty dark up in that area, but the town square has 3 new lights, so that'll be a nice enhanced safety feature, and they're cute. They're all solar, which is exciting, and they're cute lights. And I think we'll be able to also put the clips on them, so you can put the banners. So we'll be able to have seasonal banners, and we can put the flower baskets on those as well, just to kind of enhance that. The trees are all down at the courtyard. They're doing really well, and we'll be reinstalling all of the trees. All the benches will come back. We'll have some additional landscape planters for flowers. We're working with North Fork Lumber right now on the lumber order for the trellis structure. And I had a conversation with some of the Old Crows, and they said they would be willing to help make that installation. So that'll be a nice community project. Um, and then we are in the process right now of getting pricing on sod rather than hydro seeding the grass area. Um, I'm hoping that we've saved enough in our budget that we can get the sod and possibly Public Works can make the installation, but we're getting a quote from the contractor right now to see what that cost will be. We have a little bit of money remaining in our change order budget. And so we want to put that towards getting the grass. I'd rather do the sod than the hydro seed because the hydro seed's going to take a long time to grow in. And I think with the kids wanting to use the splash pad feature, having the sod placed, I think just makes more sense. So I'm hoping by the end of this month, we'll have a fairly functional town square. Um, all of the concrete will still need to be pressure washed and sealed. Um, to maintain the life of the color and just create an additional protection. So that will also take place. The bike park is fully under construction. It's super exciting. We were talking about that prior to you guys starting your meeting. We've just had a lot of community support, a lot of support from contractors and businesses who want to be a part of that. The Humboldt Skate Collective was out today. We're doing a project with them as well. So there will be a skateboard feature, which is pretty exciting. We have 3 jump lines in and the start of the pump track. And we're just continuing to build and bring in resources as we can. We've raised enough money to pay for the rental of equipment and the use of equipment and fuel. Um, and most of the labor has all been donated, which is really great. So that project is continuing. We're also working with North Fork Lumber. They've pledged to donate the wood for the fencing. So as soon as we're kind of far ahead in construction, that'll be the next thing we start thinking about is installing fencing around it. So that'll be a nice additional feature as well. All the drainage has been put in. We just had drain pipes put in. We have an LID feature. Everything's been graded to run to those features. It's all an engineered site, so that's moving forward really nicely as well. Um, let's see, park stuff. We're winding down. We're coming into our second last couple weeks of camp. Camp has been successful. We've, obviously had impacts from the schools. A lot of the schools got camp money this year and like they did last year. So that really cuts into the number of kids that want to come and pay for camp. So we've been maintaining a very tight staff to child ratio, but the kids seem to be having a great time. We've got lots of LITs this year, lots of older kids that are showing up every day to get some work experience. And so that's great. It's nice for them to kind of take that step from being a camper to being an LIT, and then a couple years down the road they'll be eligible to become staff. So it's nice to be able to keep our Blue Lake kids in that process, and Parks and Rec is a great place for those kids to have their first job. So that is a nice tradition that is continued to be successful. As far as let's see, I don't know. Do you guys have any questions on any projects? Quick update on Blake Power. That project, we will be going out to a public bid process in the near future to look at demolition and salvage of that plant. That'll be a publicly advertised process, and the city will accept bid proposals for that work. Our engineers are working on a modified proposal from they've done some other bids for salvage of other plants, and so they're making some modifications and recommendations, and then we'll be working with our attorney to put together a package to get out to the public. So that'll be nice to see that moving forward. We just wrapped up our final draft development plan for the Powers Creek District. That was from the EDA grant money that we received, and that's a really nice package that just shows a lot of carrying potential for the Powers Creek District, including safe streets, walkability, and so that's also moving forward. Let's see. I think there's so many projects, so many things. Um, yeah, I think with this weather, we've seen a lot less people, obviously going to the river. So that has been kind of a less impactful summer so far. We had a really busy first month, and that's kind of dropped off with the cooling weather. So we'll see. It's supposed to start heating up again, so we'll see how that trends. But I think that's about all I have, unless you guys have any specific questions about projects I've missed or updates. Mhm.
Yep. All right. We'll take public comment on item 8.
Ken Sawatsky, I'm concerned when I drive down. Well, I did first thing I wanted to shout out to some friends of mine, George and Peggy Schmidbauer. They are the ones who donate. They donated, I was told, $1 million, and they don't bring this up when they do it. I think to Dream Quest up in Willow Creek, there's a beautiful thing going in up there for the kids. There are people out there who see people with money, they don't like that, but they do some wonderful work like Schmidbauers have many years. The My concern is with the project that's coming into town, the truck route there is I don't know, we're supposed to have both bikes and pedestrians on the same sidewalk, is my understanding. And we have, of course, the poles down the middle. Um, we barely have ADA compliance if we do going around those poles and the guy wires. So I don't know, are you going to have directional where the bikes are on the right-hand side or a pedestrian? So you're intermixing two things that may not intermix well under the circumstances. We also are narrowing that down considerably there. And I don't know how far they're going to move the center stripe over toward the other side, but right now there isn't room for people to get out of their cars safely and open the door to get out to unload the kids. It won't happen. You can park a car now and where the phones are, and it's not happening. So I seriously concerned regarding the children and their safety in that area. When you have a bulb out, and I don't know how many of you have tried to park in Eureka, they put a bulb out where I always park. I could always pull straight in. Now, when you have a bulb out, you can't. So you lose not just the size of the bulb out, but a functional parking place. Parents don't want to go back and forth with space in there. I'm guessing it would have been interesting to see actually how many, or we will see how many actual spaces are left for the school for the kids to get in and out of those cars safely. I still strongly suggest that some other process and unloading thing be made for that. We'll see what this happens. I just hate to have to tell you, the people that are going to speed that are going to go down there at 50 miles an hour are still going to go down there at 50 miles an hour. The problem ones won't slow down at all. The same ones who go ahead and when it splashes to go 15, they still go down there doing 35 or 40. These little things do not change the people's attitudes who have no respect for the law. That's done by enforcement and ticketing and people being paid a stick. That's about the only way you get people to slow down. So unfortunately, I don't have much faith. The other thing regarding the ADA compliant parking lot up at the town center. I made mention that when you have an ADA parking, you have the signage up, people assume that's a safe place to park. Well, it's not a usable ADA spot the way it is, and those signs should be bagged until such time as it is. And that puts the city at risk financially. Talk a little bit about risk management before. I think we need to pay attention to some of those things. One lawsuit, I don't know what our deductible is, quite low, but they pass all that cost on to the city. That's how these groups that do the insurance, we're a member of the fund. So strongly support us minimizing our exposure to litigation. And this time I feel that we're kind of hanging it out there. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
All right. Let's see. So on the Powers Creek plans, I was just wondering how these plans continue to be brought forward when there hasn't been any planning commission meetings hardly at all. I was wondering if the city has any signage for the algae, but as mentioned, the weather has caused a great conflict with tourism, and that is for safety. So I was just wondering if there was any kind of signage available for that. The power plant, I've been walking around there a lot. There are many, many holes in the fence, and I don't know if that's something that the city's aware of or not, but there's some probably about 6 feet wide holes in the fence where people probably are stealing things and causing riffraff. I think it's great that the planning is going into the school schedule. I appreciate that. Um, I went to school for 9 years at Blue Lake. I never had an issue with kids running in front of cars. I do worry about cars not having enough room and running into kids. Splash pad, the lights. This is in a neighborhood. I'm just wondering if those lights are going to be brighter or average to the normal lights that would be in a neighborhood. Because to me, one of the benefits of Blue Lake is that night sky and being able to have that benefit of the nighttime. And I'm wondering if there's an update on the bathroom. And love hearing about Parks and Rec. And Stephanie Dickinson, I think, is who has resigned. And I wanted to say thank you to her because she did spend a lot of time on the dog issue, which was very pertinent to me, and I really appreciate her efforts in that. So thank you to Stephanie.
Just a small thing. You guys mentioned item number 8. There goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just a small correction.
It's been like that for.
You know, it's funny because I was writing that down and I was like, didn't we already do 8?
I know.
I didn't even catch it. It's took one out.
It just, we have an issue with the template. It just keeps defaulting back every time you make a change. So we try and catch it, and every once in a while it slips by.
Any other public comment on that item? No. I will speak to the algae signs. Sorry about that. Watch TV. There are signs on the walkways going down to the public to the busy areas. Here you'll see a big square sign. They were put out by the casino. There was one positive, well, not positive, potential exposure 4th of July weekend to a human, but it was a potential. It wasn't anything set concrete. So they put the signs out. It's that time of the year. They're right on the other side of the bridge. You'll see where everybody walks down on the south side over there. But that's all I know. I've just seen the signs for myself, and they put them all out at the hatchery as well. So. Okay.
So is there testing that's happened?
I can't.
Show that algae is.
I can't speak on it. The people that are putting the signs out just said that there was a potential exposure on 4th of July weekend. That's all I know. It's very expensive to test, so I don't think the county really does unless there is.
I think the Rancheria keeps an eye on it and does some testing. I think they recently just released something on their Rancheria page.
Okay.
I just like to say I'm here for the rest of your meeting as your liaison. I was not notified that Chris would be here, so I just came on to check on things after my class. So.
Okay. All right. There's no other questions on reports from liaison and staff. Do you have anything as a liaison?
I don't think it's in this most meeting.
Okay.
Questions out of anything. Sorry.
Oh, we can move on to item 9, future agenda items and announcements. I do have one announcement. We will need to change next month's meeting date because it is on holiday. So I suggest let me get my calendar up. So it's supposed to be September 2nd, which is Labor Day. So I propose we do it on the 9th, if that's okay with everybody.
That's fine with me.
Okay. So we'll move our meeting for September to September 9th.
Public comment on that?
Yeah.
Might want to check your timing because the second Monday is
Oh, Arts and Heritage.
Chamber of Commerce and Arts and Heritage.
Oh, okay. Well, so this building wouldn't be available. That's weird at the Crash Hall, but what do you suggest? Want to go to the 3rd weekend?
I mean, you could always skip September if you want to just concentrate on that month, putting your effort into the safety event.
Yeah, we were just having safety event on the 14th, so we could collaborate. But I guess so.
Do you feel like you need that meeting for part of your safety event planning?
I don't believe so. We have an ad hoc committee that's been working on it. So. Are you guys?
I say we could cancel.
Yeah.
Cancel
September.
meeting for September.
Treat the public safety fair.
Focus on the safety fair on the 14th.
That sounds good.
Other public comments?
Well, it's 2 months away, I guess. So I probably won't be here. I'll probably be in Mexico, but I did bring forward a few questions. One was the fireworks. If you'd like to put something on there dealing with that, possibly in the future. Uh, the other was the stop signs on H and I Street and the Redwood Route on I Street. And the gate down at the Gymkhana. So those were topics that you may consider putting on there. Those are ones that people have brought to my attention and requested that I bring before you this evening. So I have done my duty, and now it's up to you guys if you wish to do your due diligence. Take an opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Any other items that like on there? I also have the annual meeting we need to, which I guess we won't need to do that because we're skipping. So
Yeah.
we'll take that off. All right. All right. There's no other comments.
Adjourn, is there anything you'd like me to communicate to the council at our next meeting?
I don't think so.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, yeah.
All right, then, if there's no objections, then we'll just take a motion to adjourn. Oh,
I'll move.
All right, then the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.